Hey guys, here is another tutorial today with another workflow, and today I'm gonna show you how you can create an agent to process your email messages and classify them and label them and push them into the different folders. This way you don't have to do this manually, and it solves a lot of issues with spending a lot of time on the emails. Sometimes we are missing and important emails when they are between so many other emails, and I think this way we can classify emails, we can divide them into different labels. So I just created a simple diagram just to show you the concept. In this concept we are gonna process an email inbox. In this case it's gonna be a Gmail inbox, and we are gonna process the messages, incoming messages, which means that when we create this workflow, it's going to be activated and works whenever there's a new message coming to your inbox, and then process it and then put it to the new label. In this case, we're going to have a classifier agent. We are going to use one of the GenAI models like OpenAI to help us to classify the messages based on the content of the messages, and we put the message to the right label. As you can see on the diagram, when we process the messages, we need to give the agent the proper description based on what we want to divide messages here, and then agent will look at the messages and decide which label should be assigned to each message. In this case, I'm gonna just for this tutorial use for examples or for labels: invoices, high priority, customer support, meetings, and scheduling. This is quite a common labels that probably most of the people are using. In your case, it can be anything else. It doesn't matter, because you can tailor this solution to your business. I would suggest always try to follow the tutorial and see if it's working for you, and then try to customize it in your way, because it's also important to understand how every elements of this agentic workflow is working, what does it mean, how they're connecting to each other. And once you understand everything, then it's not difficult to change the parameters, configuration, and also tailor that to your solution. So as always, I'm going to put this template to the community. I would suggest to you to join to the community. In this community, I'm going to provide a lot of tutorials. We're going to have a lot of workshops. We're gonna also support our users in this community, so it's quite interesting to share things with each other, learn from each other. So I really recommend to join to this community. There also you can get the template, download the template, and use it right away. Before I dive into the implementation, I forgot to show you something. I mentioned earlier that the classifier agent will decide what to do with each message and what label to put on each message, right? But how the classifier agent does this? So basically, we need to define each label and to give some information to the agent what each label means, and based on what agent should decide about the messages. So, for example, I put an example here for the invoices. So this is the description I generated using ChatGPT. I used ChatGPT to generate a description for all 4 labels. And in your case, if you have a different types of label, you can use ChatGPT or any AI models to create a description for you. You can also draft a description yourself. In this case, the description is about how we classify emails as invoices. And as you can see, it describes a little bit about what kind of information agent might be looking into the emails messages. Also, there's some examples of the subject or sentences that agent might see in this kind of email. So basically, this gives an agent some information about how it looks like. And of course, this helps agent to classify most of the emails that are part of the invoices label. So I created a description for the other labels as well. So we're gonna create a template in a second. As always, you need to create a new workflow in NHN. And we're gonna start with the first element, which is the trigger, and important because this is the place that your workflow gets started. So it's important to define how you want your workflow gets started. Of course, you can do it manually, but in this case, we want to do it automatically. So we say on message received, which means that every time we get a new message, this workflow gets started. You need to configure the credentials here to connect to your Gmail account. I already did it, but I want to do it again just to show you how it works. So I just put a Gmail, maybe CAC Gmail account. I'm going to connect it to my Gmail. So click on sign in with Google. Here you choose your account. And then you need to agree with the information here and the consent. So as you can see here, it says you have to review the access every 6 months. And these are the things that you need to give permissions. For me, I want to give the all permissions, but you can check and just tick the box that you want to do. For example, we need to see and edit your email labels. For this tutorial, we only need this one. And we also need to have this one, view your email messages, and yeah, I think this one as well. So I think maybe 2 or 3 of them would be enough for this tutorial, but I just ticked all boxes because I want to use this for other tutorials as well. So I click on continue, and now connection successful. So I can close the window. Now I'm connected to the email. I also got an email from Google, so this is nice because we can maybe test it with the same message. So if I click on fetch test event, so as you can see, I got the same message as I got here. So yeah, this is the message I got. And now, if you actually remove this simplify option, you might get even more information here. As you can see now, you get a lot of information here. I think this is better because then we get more information about the email all elements. Let's keep it that way. And now what we need to do, we need to go to the next step. For the next step, what we need to do, we want to classify the messages. So at end, you have a classify text classifier. So we can use the text classifier here. So for that, we need to define the categories. Also, we need to add the text here. So let's add the text here first. For that, we need to find the text message here. This was the header, and this is the text. So we can drag the text here. As you can see, it's working like this, that when you drag the element from the input panel to your parameters, it is placed as a parameter, which means that it is populated automatically on the runtime. But because we already had some value in that part, it's already populated here, so you can also test it here. You can also click on that and make it bigger and see the information here. And this is quite nice because as you're designing, you can also test your workflow. So the next thing we need to do, we need to define the categories. Let me just have a look at the description I have. Okay, let's add some labels here. So the first label is invoices. Now the new label is high priority. Then another label is customer support. And the last one is meetings and scheduling. Okay, we add all labels here. We come back to the workflow, and now we can add categories here. We need 4 categories. And these categories are the categories that we're gonna use to tell the text classifiers about our labels and also what each label means. So I'll start from the invoices. I put invoices here. Also the description I have, I paste it here. And then the next one is high priority. And then last one is the meeting and scheduling. And this is the description. Okay, I'll remove this part because this is not necessary. So as I said, I will put the template in the community, so don't worry about it that you don't see the old text. You can go to the community and download it from there. So now we added all categories. I think we are fine here. Let's save the workflow. Now we need to add our model. Let's add our model, and I want to add the OpenAI. So, and with the OpenAI, I want to choose GPT-4o. That's it. So the classifier is configured here. Now what we need to do is to configure the next step. The next step is to configure the Gmail account, and we need to choose the adding label, right? Because when we receive a message, text classifier decide about the message and then add the label. We can already run this text classifier just for this message we got. And let's see which one. Interesting, it didn't put this email to any of those. Okay, it wasn't considered as a part of any of the labels. That's nice. And just want to make sure we get the message here. Okay, so now let's add the next one is the Gmail adding label. So we click on the Gmail, and it says add label to message. So here we choose credential, and for the label was the adding label. The operation will leave it as it is. The message ID is the one that we need to configure, but at some point this is annoying because I cannot really drag it here. So this is interesting. So I know this parameter, so I just paste it here. But now we need to choose the label, and the label is invoices. Okay, let's just save this. And then we can actually make a copy of this. And then connect it to each one. So now what we need to do, we need to change the labels to the right one. High priority. This one is customer support. And the last one is meeting and scheduling. Okay, so I think this is clear what it means, so I don't need to change the names here. Let's keep it that way. And now we want to test this workflow. Let's just save the workflow. Let's also make it active. Now the workflow is active. We can come back to the email, and here we can compose new email to myself. And that way I can actually test each category. Let's give it a try with invoices. We can give it a try one or two of the categories just to see if the workflow works or not. So for this one, I generated a fictional email just to test. And this is the body of the email, and the recipient is CIC AI Studio. So it's basically the same account. Okay, now as you can see, the labels are empty. There is no email or any of the labels. Let's send an email. So I just send an email, and yeah, we should expect that message is processed and see. Let me just, it's not processed yet. Let me just check it again and go back to the inbox to see if it's processed or not. So it didn't process my email. And why is that, do you think? I think I did something wrong here. So we connected to the CAC Gmail account here. That is fine. This is also CAC. Just want to make sure everything is correct. Okay. If I click on this, okay, I got the message here. The message, I sent the invoice. Now let's run the classifier. Now the classifier went to the invoice. And now if I run this one, now it should be in the invoice label. Interesting. Okay, so it's working. Now let's give it another try and see if it works or not. Let's compose another email, and this one is the high priority one. So this is the body, and this is CAC Studio. Now if I send this email, it should okay, I go to the inbox. Now it is here. Let's wait a couple of seconds. Maybe I didn't wait that long last time. Oh, I forgot that this was every minute. This was the issue. Okay, this was the issue. I didn't actually pay attention to this one. So basically the problem was that I was expecting that to see that the message is processed immediately, but I forgot completely that this is this has pool times with every minute. So I think, I don't know if it's, yeah, it worked. It worked. So it works every minute, and that was I was actually rushing and I'm quite impatient about this stuff, and that's why I think, yeah, I thought something went wrong. So this is great. It worked, and so now we know that it is working, and it moves the messages to the right label. I think you can change it to your situation. Based on the different labels you have, you can change this. But in a nutshell, I think now you understood how this works and how text classifier can help you to classify the text based on the description. In this case, we use the text classifier to label the messages for the Gmail. But now you know that this classifier probably can be used in so many other use cases. I hope you liked the video. As I said, I'm gonna put the template in our community so you can download it from there. I'm also really interested to see your ideas. So, see you in the next video. Thank you.